The Loom Knitting knit stitch comes in many variations, and I'm going to teach you some of them here. To begin, though, we need to have a couple tools. We need to have a loom that's already been cast on. Here I've cast on in the chain cast on. You need to have a knit hook or a crochet hook or whatever tool you like to use to work your yarn. And you need to, of course, have a ball of yarn. Now, the E-wrap knit stitch is the most popular knit stitch, and we won't be going over that stitch here. We'll be going over the other knit stitches. So we'll start with the, I guess you'll call it the traditional knit stitch. The traditional knit stitch, you want to take your working yarn and you want to put it over your first peg, over the top of your bottom loop. So you have your one loop here and then you have your top loop. You want to take your knit hook and you want to come from the bottom and you want to come up through that bottom loop. All right. Come up through the bottom loop. You want to grab the top, your working yarn on the top, and pull it down through the bottom loop and pull it out, creating a new loop. Then you want to take this up and over and put your new loop onto the peg. And that is the traditional, and then of course you pull tight. That's the traditional knit stitch. Okay, let's do that one more time. All right, so come up from the bottom, grab your working yarn, pull it down and through the bottom loop, creating a new loop. Then grab all of it together, remove it from the peg, and put your new loop onto the peg, and then pull tight. Okay? One more time. Grab, go from underneath, grab your top working yarn, pull out and create a new loop. Grab all of this, remove it from the peg, and put your new loop back onto the peg. And then, of course, tighten your work. Okay? And that right there, we knit 3 stitches using the traditional method. Now, the next one is called the U-stitch. Okay? With the U-stitch, you take your working yarn like this, creating a U, and you hold it with your left hand or your right hand, whichever one you're using, and you hold that, and then you take your bottom and you come over the top, and then you push down. Okay, so you're creating a U. See how we're going, taking our working yarn, we're pulling it towards the center of our loom, creating a U. See the U? And we take our bottom loop and we put it over the top loop, creating the U knit stitch, or the U stitch. Okay, one more time. Take our working yarn over the peg, and you want to pull it tight. Grab the bottom, come over. All right. I guess we'll do it one more time. All right. Over the next peg with your working yarn. Pull towards the center, creating a U formation. See the U? Grab your bottom yarn with your knit hook and go up and over and let go. Alright? The last one is the flat knit stitch. And the flat knit stitch is where you take all of your working yarn and you go all the way around the circle. Okay, you want to wrap it all the way around to where you get back to where you started. If we could find it. Oh, I guess we were pretty close. So, alright, so you'd wrap it all the way around and then you would knit. Another one is called a single stitch, and that's just where you hold it over. You pull your working yarn taut, going straight across like this. Grab your bottom and knit over. Right. Pull it taut, grab your bottom and knit over. Pull it taut, grab your bottom and knit over. Pull your working yarn taut over the next peg, grab the bottom yarn and knit over, pull the working yarn taut over the next one and knit over, okay, and the same goes for the last one. Pull it taut and then knit over. Now I'll show you the flat stitch since we're back to the beginning. So the flat stitch, you want to keep taking your working yarn and you want to go all the way around your loom until you get back to the anchor peg, and then you want to tie off. Alright, and see what we've done here. See how we have, can you see that? We've wrapped all the way around, right? So then after you've done this, alright, we've wrapped all the way around. So we start with the last peg, and this is once again to lock it in place like we did when we were casting on. Okay? So you take your bottom loop and you pull it over top of the top of your working yarn and you let go. And that has just locked this in place, okay? And you continue to do that all the way around. Grab the bottom, knit it over. Grab the bottom yarn, knit it over the working yarn and the peg, and let go. Grab the bottom yarn, knit it over the working yarn and the peg, and let go. And sometimes I push down with my hook here. Grab the working yarn, the bottom loop, knit it over the working yarn and the peg. And you want to continue doing this all the way around the loom until you've gotten back to the anchor peg. Alright, so if they're too close, just kind of separate them. Grab the bottom, knit it over. Grab the bottom, knit it over. And you want all the way around. Okay, and this one has two, so you want to knit over. And then you should have one loop left on the bottom. Push these all down. And that's what you should have. One single row left on the bottom. When you're done, every time you knit a row, you should always have one left on the bottom. And this is the work on the inside. So, what we learned there was the U-stitch, the single stitch, the flat stitch, and the traditional knit stitch. And these are all different ways that you can knit on your loom. Okay?